All right. What are we doing today, Fabrice?
Right. Today we're looking at peas and beans for overwintering.
Great.
Okay, now most people know about being able to plant broad beans now and overwintering them for an early crop in early summer.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And we've got loads and loads of seed.
Are we giving them out?
Well, we're going to be giving out seed.
Yeah.
We might have a few plants for schools and other people, but because you plant these late, we'd be giving these out after our giving out period. So we'll basically be holding on to them. And what I would suggest doing is the next few weeks coming and picking up seeds from us.
Okay.
So pick your seeds up before the end of October, and you have plenty of time to plant them.
Okay, great.
Right. So broad beans, those you can do in the autumn. They're easy.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that you can also do peas for overwintering.
Wow.
Peas for overwintering work really, really well. And it also means you have very early peas. So you want to have your peas end of May, beginning of June, if you sow your peas at the end, not now, at the end of October or the beginning of November.
Okay.
Now, one thing about these things is there are no advantages to sowing these too early. What you're trying to do is you're trying to sow a plant that makes a very small seedling that overwinters, but is ready to start growing strongly in February and March when the sunlight comes back.
Okay.
So if they're too big going into the winter, particularly on broad beans, they can get very, very lanky and then they get blown about by the wind.
Right.
Now, outside in the countryside, they may not be hardy in that state. In London, that doesn't seem to be the problem, but what can happen is you can have a broad bean covered in flowers in February when there are no pollinators. And then those beans don't set, and there'll not have been any point to do that.
Okay.
So these really sow them at the end of October, first few weeks in November.
Okay.
However, again, in London, you can get away with blue murder. We've sown them in December and it's all been fine.
Okay, great.
Broad beans are very easy to sow. They're big seeds, sow them deep. So you can sow them like an inch or two deep and they'll come up. Okay. They'll come up even when the soils are quite cold. They're not too fussed about soil temperatures.
And is there a top and a bottom?
No, just whack them in.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter, they'll be fine.
Okay.
The other thing I'd say is how far apart. So broad beans, these broad beans are big broad beans. They will get, up to chest height.
Wow.
So when you plant them, think about somewhere where you can stake them, because or else they will flop.
All right, so you have to stake broad beans.
There are dwarf broad beans.
Yeah.
This isn't a dwarf broad bean.
Fine.
So do stake them.
Yeah.
Or plan to stake them. And secondly, if you're planting lots, think about planting them in rows so you can actually get into the clump.
Yeah.
Because or else you'll end up with broad beans in the middle and nothing will happen.
Okay.
You'll also have bad air circulation and then you can have fungal diseases in the spring.
So in rows.
In rows. Yeah. And in rows, I think it's something like 6 inches in the row.
Okay.
20 centimetres in the row.
Yeah.
And about 45 centimetres, 1.5 to 2 foot between the rows.
Okay.
Again, it's not very precise. You can oversow in the winter because not all of them are going to make it through the winter.
All right.
If you've got too many seedlings, broad bean tops are really nice to eat. If you've got any spare seeds, you can just plant them for shoots.
Right, great.
So
okay, that's broad beans.
That's broad beans. Peas. Okay, peas are slightly trickier because pea seeds can rot quite easily in cold, wet soil.
Right.
So if you sow them in end of October and it's still mild, should be easy. I do these in, this pea we're giving out is a dwarf pea called Myatt.
Yeah.
And I do those in rows about 45 centimetres apart.
Okay.
And then you put the seeds quite close in the row. So maybe about 1 inch deep, 2 inches deep.
Yeah.
And 5 centimetres apart.
Okay.
So lots and lots of peas in the row. They're not all going to make it through the winter.
Yeah.
If you oversow, it's not a problem.
Okay.
In between, you've got a space.
Yeah.
Now, when those peas start to grow, these dwarf peas, they're going to make a great big hummock and they're going to chew that space up. But we've still got things like Mizuna plugs.
Oh, yeah.
You might be able to put some of those down the middle.
Okay.
And then get a few harvests out of that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you need to stake those as well?
No, these are dwarf peas. They're self-support. They'll just make a hummock. So they're easy to do.
And are we giving these out?
Yeah, so we are going to do some of these in modules probably for schools and people, because again, we'll be giving them out in November after the giveaway's more or less over.
Okay.
So if you vaguely know us, you're our friend, or you just want to send us an email and say, I need peas, I'm sure we can arrange something.
We'll give you pea shoots in something like that.
We'll give you pea shoots and something like this. So so if you're worried about the weather being against you, if it gets very, very wet and cold at the end of the month, you could start your peas off in modules.
Right.
Pick some of those up when you pick up your seeds if you want. And I do maybe 3 seeds in each one.
Okay.
Water them in once, don't water them again.
Yeah.
so they don't get waterlogged. You could
Okay.
also actually just put them in moist compost and pre-soak your peas overnight
All right.
and plant that. I'm not
Okay.
sure that always works. Just plant them in, water them in,
Yeah,
see what happens.
okay.
Come back when they've all rotted,
Okay.
and
so
then
it's-
plant them out when they're just a bit, when they're germinated and they're
Okay.
safely up.
And plant them out January, February, or something
Plant
like
them when
that.
you plant them out at the beginning of December, if you sow
Oh,
them in
right.
November.
Oh
So,
yeah. Okay. All right. So
but-
they'll come up by then.
yeah, they'll come up really
Okay.
fast.
Great.
So yeah, and then they won't do very much. They could look really shattered in the winter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Any scrap that survived will burst into life in March
Yeah.
and grow away really, really
Okay.
strongly.
Okay. Brilliant.
So this is it. In terms of pea varieties you can choose and broadbean varieties you can choose, not all pea and broadbean varieties are suitable for growing over the winter. So there's aqua dulce, or anything with aqua dulce in. They're some of the overwintering ones. I
Okay.
think there may be a dwarf version of this too.
Okay. Great.
With peas, you want to grow the round-seeded peas, not the wrinkly ones.
Okay.
Two varieties. This is a variety we've done before, Meteor.
Yep.
Another variety we won't be giving you seeds of, which is much taller actually, gets about 2 foot tall, is Douce de Provence. DOUCEDEPROVENCE. But quite frankly, these ones are sweeter
Okay,
and they're
great.
cheaper, and you can
All
get them from Timor
Well,
Organics.
we'll go with them.
And it's the ones we've got.
Okay. Well, thank you, Fabrice.
Peas and beans.
There we go. Peas and beans.